Hi, friend. Welcome back to the Inflection Point. My name is Naomi, and this is a space where we return to Scripture to understand how God created us so that we can walk confidently in that design, having understood it very well. Over the last few episodes, we've been walking through a journey, a very practical journey. We were looking at different things. First, that you don't need to understand the full clarity to start. Secondly, you can begin even when you feel very busy. Small beginnings matter. You can discern direction without overthinking, and that your calling may already be present in your life instead of having a moment where you're looking for it. Each of these episodes is included in a playlist, and you can find them easily for your reference. So today we are addressing something that is very real. The question is, what happens when you started, but you still feel unclear? You started working in your design, you've understood how God has created you, you've taken time to reflect and put down the reflection prompts. What happens when you started, but you still feel unclear? Many women find themselves here, many Christians do, even after starting. And you've taken the steps, you've reflected, you've started to notice the patterns, but still there's a question that still lingers in your mind. Why isn't this clearer yet? And sometimes that leads to frustration, second guessing. You slow down once again, and perhaps even putting away that idea you had begun working on. Because you expected that once you started, clarity would come so quickly and everything would move according to your own plan. Let's look at Scripture as usual and find out what it says and how we can move forward with confidence regardless of the feeling of uncertainty. We start at 1 Corinthians 13:12. It says, "Now we see things imperfectly, like puzzling reflections in a mirror. But then we will see everything with perfect clarity. All that I know now is partial and incomplete, but then I will know everything completely, just as God knows me completely." That is 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 12. Notice that it says in Scripture that clarity is described as partial, progressive, unfolding, and it is not instant. You know, in this world of instant solutions, we tend to translate the same expectation to all our other areas of lives. This just leads to all sorts of problems and frustrations. But today's Scripture reminds us that, yes, we may see not clearly right now, but in the future, things become more clear as we move on. So many of us may be waiting for a moment of clarity, a very sharp, clear answer, a final definition. But calling is rarely revealed at once. It becomes clearer as you walk, as you take that step, as you reflect, as you engage, as you pay attention. Clarity is not downloaded immediately at one go. It is developed over time. And it's true that some people may have received clarity about certain items or certain aspects of their lives in one moment, but that's not the norm. Or even if it is the norm, it doesn't happen typically for everyone. Okay, if it is the norm for those people, it doesn't happen typically for everyone. It is developed over time. So why is it that you may still feel unclear? There are some few statements you can think about that may be the reason that you're feeling unclear. Number one, you have the recognition. You recognize what you're gifted in. You recognize how God has created you, but you have no language for it yet, and you haven't written it down. You can see the patterns because you've been going over through the episodes that have been releasing, and you've done the work, so you can see the patterns and you can feel the alignment, but you cannot yet clearly articulate, this is exactly how God wired me. And without this language, clarity feels incomplete. It feels like something is still there, but you can't quite put a finger on it. Number two, you're expecting certainty instead of direction. You may be looking for a full completion, full confirmation, complete confidence, or final answers, but what God is giving you is direction rather than finality. And I must say, I have come to realize that over time, when God sheds light on a few things at a time, it's part of His way of building a relationship. I'm pretty sure He knows that if He gives us the full details of everything, we'll take off with our own plans and never refer to Him again. So perhaps it's a good thing that it's built slowly. Number three, you haven't really fully processed your story. Your calling is often hidden in your experiences, but if those experiences haven't been reflected on, connected, understood, then clarity remains scattered. Number four, you are still testing what is true. There's a stage where you are, that you're trying things, you're observing, you're learning, and that stage is very necessary. It refines what is real and what is not, and it's a real stage that one might be in. So these are the 4 reasons that you might still feel unclear, and each one of them is very valid. So here's the truth about feeling unclear. Feeling unclear does not mean you're off track. It often means that you're in a process, and process is where clarity forms. The challenge comes in if you do not take a step to reduce that uncertainty or that feeling of being unclear. You don't take time to ensure that you are clear. Perhaps you feel for one reason or another it's not possible, but unless you take that step, you will remain unclear for a very, very long time. So how do we move forward from confusion to clarity? Number 1, capture what you're seeing. Did you write it down, or everything is stored up in your head? Don't just notice the patterns, write them down. Where do you see impact? What keeps repeating? What feels aligned? Write it down. Clarity grows when patterns are captured, when you write it down. And that's the importance of journaling. And we do have journaling products with us. You can look at the website and see what is suitable for you. And truly, when you write things down, it begins to help you to process your thoughts, and even more ideas begin coming through. And for sure, you reduce that level of uncertainty that was there in your mind. So number 1, you capture what you're seeing. Second thing you can do is begin to put language to it. Try to describe what you see, even if it's not perfect. For example, I seem to help people think clearly. I often bring calm into situations. I help people understand things, such like language. Language helps to sharpen the clarity. And as we said in point number 2, write it down. Number 3, stay consistent long enough to see patterns. Clarity requires repetition. If you stop too early, everything feels unclear or incomplete. Stay long enough to observe what is consistent, what has been growing over time, what is it that has deepened in you over your stories, and then keep going with the reflections, and the patterns will begin to emerge. Number 4, which of course is the most important, is invite God into the process. Clarity is not just an observation, it is a revelation. Ask the Lord, show me how you have wired me. How is it that you have created me? And allow Him to bring understanding over time. This should probably have been our first point, but I'll leave it here as number 4, so that it anchors everything that we have talked about, all the 3 points, and this is the 4th one. All along as you take steps, ask God. He is faithful to bring forth the revelation to help you become more clear about your design. However, if you want to have a moment where you have someone guide you through this process, this is exactly what we do in the Design to Deliver coaching, both the one-on-one and the group coaching. The group coaching starts tomorrow. For those who are interested, that is 2nd July 2026, if this is when you're listening to this episode. However, if not, you can always check the website to find out when the next cohort is starting. Back to scripture. In James chapter 1 verse 5, James reminds us to ask for wisdom. So we've just said invite God into the process. Don't just do it by yourself. As you're doing it, ask God questions. Let Him answer you. Let Him reveal even more things to you. He might bring more and more people who tell you things. He might bring to remembrance things that you had forgotten a long time ago. James chapter 1 verse 5 says that if any of you lacks wisdom, you should ask God, and it will be given to you. God is not withholding clarity. He gives it, and He gives it, He does not deny it from us, and often He gives it progressively. Whoever is faithful with little can be trusted with much, isn't it? So bringing all this back to our giftedness, we've seen that many women are not lacking calling, but lacking clarity about how their calling is expressed and how they are designed. This clarity comes when you recognize the patterns, process your story, and articulate your impact. This is the missing piece. This week, I want you to do a few things. Before the journaling prompts, do one thing. Write 3 patterns that you see in how you impact others. Just take a moment, be quiet before the Lord and ask Him, how do I impact others? Maybe He might bring to a remembrance something somebody said to you, or you may bring to you to memory an instant where you helped someone. So write it down. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just be honest with yourself. This is exactly where clarity begins to take shape. Our journal prompts for today are 3. 1, ask yourself, what patterns do I already see but haven't clearly defined? Number 2, where do I need to give myself more time in this process? Number 3, what might God already be revealing that I haven't fully recognized? If this episode has helped you to realize that you're not lacking calling but clarity, we do have the Design to Deliver journal. There are several options in the products that we have. One is the Design to Deliver journal. You can purchase and download it as an e-journal, just the Design to Deliver journal. Or when you come into the Giftedness coaching, the one-on-one coaching or the group coaching, we do give you the Design to Deliver journal and a prayer journal to help you walk the journey for the next 3 months. So in the Giftedness coaching, what we do is we go deeper. I help you identify that clear language. We write those stories and in a very particular structure, and then we come up with a clear language for yourself. Everybody's language is very unique. Everybody brings impact in a very unique way because God created each one of us in a unique way. This process will help you walk in confidence. You're already walking out your gift, I can assure you, but we bring in another level of confidence that you never imagined was present just because we took time to reflect. This is how we get to read the giftedness statement that describes how God created you and how you bring impact. Friend, clarity does not always arrive all at once. It unfolds, and you're not behind at all. You are in the process. Stay with it, pay attention, and trust when things that feel unclear now, they are becoming clearer, especially because you've taken the steps to reflect, to journal, to write down based on the prompts that you've been giving. That's it for this episode. I'll see you in the next episode. Please share this with somebody who you think would benefit, and like and follow and subscribe to the channel because this helps even more people get to hear of our content. Until next time, bye-bye and God bless.